Welcome to English Vault, a channel where stories open doors to wisdom, motivation, and better English. Today's story is about a woman who turned rejection, pain, and failure into the foundation of one of the most beloved stories in the world. It's the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. But this is not just about magic, wands, and Hogwarts. This is about the power of resilience, about the courage to write your own story when the world says no, about the truth that every rejection can be turned into inspiration. So listen carefully, because this story may change the way you look at your own struggles, your own failures, and your own dreams. Joanne Rowling was born in England in 1965. From the time she was a little girl, she loved words. While other children played outside, Joanne often sat in her room, writing stories in little notebooks. She didn't grow up rich. She didn't have a magical life. She was just an ordinary girl. But her imagination was extraordinary. At only 6 years old, she wrote her first story about a rabbit. At 11, she wrote about 7 cursed diamonds. But like many dreamers, Joanne's life wasn't easy. Her relationship with her father was difficult. Her mother struggled with illness. Her path was filled with shadows long before she became famous. Yet through it all, she had one constant companion: writing. Her pen was her escape. Her stories were her safe place. Joanne wasn't the smartest student in class, at least not in the way teachers measured intelligence. She wasn't a math genius. She wasn't a science star, but she loved books. She loved fantasy. She loved words. She dreamed of being a writer one day, but society had other plans. People around her said things like, "Writers don't make money. That's not a real career. Be practical." Still, Joanne kept dreaming. She studied French and classics in college, thinking that maybe somehow it would lead her closer to literature. But soon real life knocked on her door. After university, Joanne's life became more difficult. Her mother passed away from illness, and Joanne was devastated. The loss cut her deeply. She felt alone. Later, she moved to Portugal to teach English. There she married, but the marriage quickly turned unhappy and ended in separation. She returned to England as a single mother, carrying her baby daughter with almost nothing in her pockets. She had no job, no money, no stability. She depended on government welfare to survive. She described herself at that time as the biggest failure I knew. Can you imagine? A young woman with a child, no support, rejected by life in every way possible. But even in the middle of her darkest days, she kept writing. One day, while traveling on a train from Manchester to London, Joanne's imagination sparked. She saw, in her mind, a young boy with messy black hair, glasses, and a lightning-shaped scar. He wasn't just any boy, he was a wizard. A wizard who didn't know he was special until one day his whole life changed. That boy was Harry Potter. The idea lit a fire in her heart. Even when life seemed hopeless, she now carried a spark of hope. A story. She began writing whenever she could, scribbling on scraps of paper, jotting down scenes while her baby daughter slept beside her. In cafes, she would push the stroller with one hand and write with the other. Every word was a battle against despair, but every page was proof that she still believed. After years of hard work, Joanne finished her first manuscript, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Excited, she sent it to publishers. She waited with hope, but one after another, the letters came back. No. Rejected. The first publisher said it wasn't good enough. The second said children wouldn't read such a long book. The third said there was no market for it. In fact, 12 different publishers rejected her manuscript. Most people would have given up. After all, when the experts say no, it's easy to believe them. But Joanne didn't stop. She believed in Harry. She believed in her story. And then, the 13th publisher, a small company called Bloomsbury, decided to take a chance. They gave her a tiny advance, just enough to survive for a little while. But they told her, don't expect to make much money. Children's books don't sell well. What they didn't know was that this book would soon change the world. When Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was finally published in 1997, it started small. Only 500 copies were printed. But slowly, something magical happened. Children began to love the story. Parents began to read it too. Teachers recommended it. Word spread, and then the world exploded with Harry Potter fever. What started in a small cafe, written by a struggling single mother, grew into a series that would sell over 500 million copies worldwide. It became movies, theme parks, and a cultural phenomenon. J.K. Rowling, the woman once living on welfare, became one of the richest and most influential authors in history. But more importantly, her story became a beacon of hope. So what does this mean for you and me? Number 1. Rejection is not the end. Rowling was rejected 12 times. Imagine if she had stopped at number 12, the world would never have known Harry Potter. Number 2. Your pain can fuel your purpose. She wrote Harry's story in the middle of grief, poverty, and despair. Her struggles gave her words depth and soul. Number 3. Believe in your story. Even when the experts said no, she held on. If you don't believe in your dream, who else will? Number 4. Success often hides behind failure. Many people quit just before the breakthrough. Rowling kept going, and her breakthrough came after years of no. Rowling herself once said, "It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all." Her journey proves that failure is not the opposite of success. It is the path to it. Your rejection today could be your inspiration tomorrow. Your darkest chapter could become the beginning of your greatest story. Think about your own life. Have you been rejected? Have you been told no? Have you failed again and again? If yes, then congratulations. You are walking the same road as J.K. Rowling, as every dreamer, every creator, every achiever in history. The question is, will you stop at rejection or will you turn rejection into inspiration? Because the truth is, you only need one yes. So my dear listener, as you leave today with Rowling's story in your heart, remember this: every rejection is redirection. Every failure is a teacher. Every no brings you closer to the right. Yes, J.K. Rowling was not born successful. She was not born lucky. She was born ordinary, like you, like me. But she kept believing. She kept writing. She kept moving forward. And that's what made her extraordinary. Thank you for listening to today's story on English Vault, where words inspire and where stories teach. If this story of J.K. Rowling touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And never forget, your story is not over. Like Rowling, you may be facing rejection after rejection, but keep going. The world may just be waiting for your Harry Potter. Because from rejection comes inspiration, and your story could be the next to inspire the world.